Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitansha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, everyone. Can I please request everyone to start their cameras? It becomes very easy for us to interact with each other. Before we start today's class, if you're driving, it's okay. Please arrive home and then start. So before we start today's class, there are two new devotees joining us today. So we have Asha Mataji on the top. Hare Krishna Mataji. I think most of you know Mataji. She's the Kanika Mataji's mother. She just want to join the classes and give her association. She's been practicing devotion for many, many years. Most of the days when we get up, she has already finished her 16 rounds in the morning. So that's how serious she is. So thank you, Mataji, for joining. Or also we have Jyotirmayi Mataji next to Divya Mataji on the screen, Galaxy S8. Maybe Mataji, you can update the name.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Jyotirmayi Radha.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mata. She's the disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, very, very senior devotee. She's looking after the garland seva in the temple for many, many years. So she's also with us for this and next module. So thank you, Mataji, for joining. Herself and the brother Bharat Prabhu, most of you would know Bharat Shrestha Prabhu. They are doing a lot of seva for, I don't know, 20 plus years in the temple. So also very, very long-term devotees in the temple. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. So today is the second class of NOI. So last class we did a little introduction to NOI. So I'll just do a quick recap of the last class and then we'll start today's discussion on verse 1 of Nectar of Instruction. Okay, so this picture was representing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Rupa Goswami. Anyone remembers where Rupa Goswami is meeting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this picture? Mahaprabhu Prabhu saying something I can't hear.
Ramkeli.
Ramkeli, that's not the correct answer. Anyone else?
Allahabad.
Sorry? Allahabad. Thank you. Allahabad or Prayagraj. Now, who can tell me the story behind this picture? Quick one, just few lines. So we discussed a little introduction about Rupa Goswami last week, and then we explained this picture, what's happening in this picture. So if you step back, Akhandasa Prabhu said Ramkeli, which is a very, very important place. Maybe Akhandasa Prabhu, can explain the history behind Ramkeli. Not in this picture, but yeah, that's a very important step before this picture.
I think it is where first time I think Rupa Goswami met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I think.
Absolutely, Prabhu. Face to face, he met there and the very first time. Anyone can tell a step before what happened before Ramkeli in Rupa Goswami's life? What was his previous name? Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, anyone?
Dabir Kha.
Dabir Khas, thank you, Vinay Prabhu. And who was his brother? Sakar Malik.
Sakar Malik.
And what was the king's name? Anyone remembers for whom these two brothers were working?
Nawab Hussain.
Thank you. What was the third brother's name?
Anupam.
Thank you. He was the eldest one.
Eldest was Sanatan Goswami.
Second?
I think Rupa Goswami. And
Thank you.
third was Anupam.
Yeah. So their original names, their original Brahmanas was Santosh, which was actually the Sanatan Goswami, and Rupa Goswami. Anyone remembers the name? And he was not coming to my mind as well. And Santosh became Sakar Malik, and later on he became Sanatan Goswami. And Rupa's original name, can't remember. He became Dabir Khas, and later he became Rupa Goswami. Third brother Anupam never worked for Nawab Hussain Shah. He was a very great Ram Bhakta. Very, very great Ram Bhakta. Jiva Goswami was the son of Anupam. So Anupam was the father of Jiva Goswami, who is our Siddhanta Acharya. So very, very great devotee. So just quick discussions. They were forced to work for Nawab Hussain Shah. Why? Anyone?
Because the Nawab Hussain said he will commit atrocities against the Vaishnavas. To protect them, they accepted the positions in the Nawab Hussain's court.
Thank you,
But
Prabhuji.
they did not want to save. They wanted to save the Vaishnavas from the.
Yes, because they were practically overqualified. They were so qualified. Their fame was spread all over. So Nawab Hussain Shah thought, if they come and work for me, I can do my expansion and run the kingdom very nicely, because many, many Hindus were there that time. It was not very easy to run on them. So he sort of included them, very, very intelligent people. And you probably know this, Muslims trusted Hindus more than Muslims. Because when a Muslim son will kill his father, you don't know what to speak of brother. But Hindus will not do that, mostly speaking. So he trusted these two people. Anyway, they were very, very efficient in Sanskrit, Arabian, Parsi, obviously Hindi, Bengali. They're knowledgeable of so many languages. And they had other qualifications as well. So now Hussain Shah forced them to join in their kingdom. But because they continued their Vaishnavism, they made Gupt Vrindavan in their palaces, actually. And they were listening Krishna Katha. They're doing a lot of nice work as well. They're doing a lot of charity work. Later on, when they came to know about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, before I go there, which year Rupa Goswami was born? Anyone? Even a rough close will be fine. We discuss about it now.
1489, Prabhu.
Thank you. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
3 years before.
3 years, 86. Huh? So you can remember. So he was 3 years younger in physical age. I'm talking to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He appeared 3 years after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. And what age he met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the first time face to face?
25 years, Prabhu.
25 years, thank you. So at the age of 25, he met with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just after 1 year after that, in age of 26, he left the kingdom. He left his job, he left the kingdom. Sanatan Goswami stayed back for some time because he was imprisoned by Nawab Hussain Shah. Anyway, so when he ran from his position, obviously he gave away everything. He literally walked out with nothing in hand. He gave away all his whatever money or wealth he had in charity. And the very first time after Ramkeli, obviously, the second time he met with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while he is journeying up in India towards Vrindavan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that time was coming back from Vrindavan, so they both meet at Prayagraj. So this is the location where they met with Rupa Goswami. Now, in this location at Prayagraj or Allahabad, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Rupa Goswami for how many days? Anyone remembers? Simple question.
10 days.
10 days. Thank you. Later on, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met with Sanatan Goswami in which city? Someone else other than Rasanand Prabhu.
Prayaga?
No, Prayag, they are meeting right now. So Rupa Goswami met with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Prayag. My question is, where did Chaitanya
Varanasi, Prabhu.
Thank you, Varanasi. Right? How long Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed with Sanatan Goswami, preaching him? Not Madhuri Mataji, someone else. We discuss about all this. Just small facts. It's not going to come in exam probably, but it's just good to know. 2 months. 2 months Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent with Sanatan Goswami. So very, very significantly long time, 10 days versus 60 days. So very, very significant time. But Rupa Goswami, because he got the instructions from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first, we are known as Rupanuga, not Sanatanuga. Even Sanatan Goswami considered Rupa Goswami as a Agraj, as a most prominent leader. Obviously, Rupa Goswami never thought like that, but because he got the instruction first. So many times we have seniority based on the initiation date, which is not incorrect. We can see here. So he got the first instruction and then he went to Vrindavan. Later on, Sanatana Goswami came and joined. Now, what are the 4 mission statements which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Srila Rupa Goswami in this first meeting, which he continued to give to other Goswamis as well? What are the 4 basic mission statements? I want someone else to speak as well. We have Manmohan Prabhuji. If you want to say anyone, even if it's wrong, don't worry about it. We're just talking. Although it's getting recorded, but Sundar Gopal Prabhu is very kind.
One was
So,
to
sir,
rediscover the Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan.
Thank you. The places of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. Thank you, Manmohan Prabhu. It was on the spot. That's the first one. Second one, who can tell? Not Manmohan Prabhu.
Construct temples.
Construct temples on those. So
Temples,
first
yes.
to rediscover those places and then to construct temples so that people can come and take benefit of those places. Thank you. Third one,
Prabhuji,
book
write the
distribution.
literature.
someone else who has not spoken. That's a condition.
Write
Book
the
distribution.
literature. Write the literature.
Okay, right. The literature. Priya Mataji, I think she said that. Thank you, Priya Mataji.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
I have to just, I'm just in the middle of something, but I'll turn my camera on soon.
That's okay. That's okay. So write the literature. Yes. And
Um,
last one, who will say someone else?
Book distribution, Prabhu.
Book
Preaching.
distribution. You can say preaching. Thank you, Kanika Mataji and Benay Prabhu. Yeah. So write the books and not just keep it to yourself, give it to others. And these are the 4 mission statements which was given to all the Goswamis. Obviously, first one was Rupa Goswami to achieve it. Are we supposed to follow this? Yes. So we are also, because we are trying to be Rupanuga, so we are also under the same instruction. Now, we may not be able to discover many places, but we can go to the places. That's why Prabhupada said we must go and visit Dham at least once in a year, because we need that. Construction of the temple that obviously we are trying to follow. We are helping in construction of different temples. Our temple is also getting built. So we will need a lot of support. So wherever possible, whatever possible, please do that support. Third one, writing the literature. So also our Prabhupada, you can say Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, he was also writing so much literature. And many of the devotees also write, and we are also, if we have that skill, we should write, because writing expands our knowledge, clarifies our thoughts. And the fourth one, which we are all supposed to do, definitely supposed to do. What is the fourth one? Share the science of Krishna consciousness with others. So these are the 4 mission statements. Let's have a look at the screen. I'll remove this black thing. Somewhere. Okay. Yep. So these were the 4 things which we discussed last week. And then Rupa Goswami came to Vrindavan following all these mission statements given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Later on, he again visited Puri to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If I'm not wrong, that was the last time he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He stayed there for a few months. Okay. What does this picture represent? Anyone? Yes, Mahavasu Prabhu?
Srila Rupa Goswami gave darshan to Srila Prabhupada in Radha Damodar temple, and he instructed him to go to the west and preach Krishna consciousness, and Krishna has already arranged everything so that he can easily promote Krishna consciousness in the west.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Why did he give darshan? Sorry. You described it correctly. My question is why?
Because Prabhupada used to
sit in the temple, and sometimes he used to fry,
Jhadu
but
marte.
yeah, before that he used to go and sweep the floor or near his samadhi, and he would cry
and
request him to give
give
the
mercy so that
mercy.
he can promote Krishna consciousness.
So for many, many years, Prabhupada was begging for the mercy from his heart, and he was serving Rupa Goswami. And finally, Rupa Goswami gave. And it says after this revelation of Rupa Goswami to Srila Prabhupada left India. So it was a long journey. It didn't happen in one day. Many times we want the mercy that all our anarthas goes away and we become so much interested. It doesn't happen. So Srila Prabhupada obviously didn't have to do all this, but he did it to set up an example. So we have to serve our acharyas for a long time. We have to cry. And it says if we cannot cry, what should we do? We should cry that we do not cry. And if we don't do that, we should cry that we don't even have desire to cry for crying. So we should basically, as His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj always says, we should meditate on these instructions at the first step. As the first step, then application will come. So right now, what we are doing, we're trying to study a little bit as per our understanding and trying to meditate on those aspects. So one day we can apply and then we can share. Okay, let's move forward. So this was the preface. 1 second. Okay. So just a few lines. So Srila Prabhupada gives direct credit to Srila Rupa Goswami of running this whole movement. So he says this Krishna conscious movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. And he agreed to that he only sort of gave me the Shakti to do everything. And then just the green portion I'm reading very quickly. To understand the mission of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in his footsteps, one must very seriously follow in the footsteps of all the 6 Goswamis. So if we want a real advancement, then we have to follow in the footsteps of Goswamis. So someone was saying, we may look like a devotee, we can appear like a devotee, but to be a devotee is very difficult. Appearing like a devotee is very easy. As Amok Lila Prabhu says, 500 रुपए में प्रभु जी भक्त बन जाएंगे, and 500 rupees any man can look like a devotee, or 2000 rupees any Matajis can look like a devotee, but it's not so cheap. So our purpose is not to appear like a devotee. Our purpose is to be a devotee eventually, at least, if not today, but that's the goal we are taking in our heart. And by following in the footsteps of acharyas, one day we have full hope. We are confident actually that we will get their mercy and will become a devotee. Srila Goswami was the leader of all Goswamis, and to guide our activities, he gave this Updeshamrita. So if we read Updeshamrita, the purpose of becoming a pure devotee, obviously read and apply, will be resolved. This paragraph is very important because this relates to our verse 1. In all spiritual affairs, the verse 1 is so important. Prabhupada could not even wait to write verse 1 in verse 1. He's writing verse 1 in the preface of the book. In all his spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot make any spiritual advancement. So this is where we start. Yeah, if you cannot do that, it's very difficult to make advancement. Okay, advancement Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. So I think Gaur Gopal Prabhu was saying, it's not about your altitude. Altitude means height, how high we are. It's all about your attitude. So sometimes we try to increase our altitude. Everyone or many of them should recognize me as a devotee. But we don't need to do that. We just have to change our attitude. Gauranga Prabhu was saying, it's not an external adjustment. It's an internal journey. So we have to adjust our internals, and that's why this journey is very, very difficult, because adjusting externals is very easy. Today is very cold day, you can put on a heater, very, very easy. But if your heart has some black things, some anarthas, how do you remove that? Any washing machines, anyone knows who can remove those dirt of the heart? There's only one washing machine, 180 Falcon Street. You go there, you associate with devotees, you serve the deities, serve the Vaishnavas, and some blackish things will go away. Many, many devotees washing pots for many, many years, many, many years. Not many people even know about them. And it's not an easy job. I've done it a couple of times and you come back with back pain, this and that. But devotees are doing this garland, making Mataji so many. They sit there for 8 hours and people don't even recognize the dress of Gopinath, what to speak of garland. But it's difficult. Many services are very difficult, but devotees are doing just for that one purpose, so their attitude can change. So it's all about our attitude, because Krishna knows at the end of the day how great we are. So a follower of the Krishna consciousness movement should become a perfect Goswami. Goswami means go Swami. Go means senses. Swami means the master. So we have to become eventually master of our senses. We'll talk about this word in our verse today. Okay, so what's the summary of NOI? To guide our activities so that we may become Goswamis, we can become pure Vaishnavas, and it will be easier to make our lives successful. Okay, then we looked at 7 themes which are described in Nectar of Devotion. I'll just read the name here: mind and sense control, and you would probably know how to read the themes into the verses. So mind and sense control has talked about in a couple of verses. Our attitude, you can see practically every verse is talking about our attitude. ISKCON's purpose, how ISKCON is helping us to change that attitude or to fulfill that purpose, which is put in first and second. So how to control your mind and senses, how to change your attitude. ISKCON or ISKCON schedule made by Prabhupada fulfills that purpose. So how ISKCON is helping in that purpose, that's described in these verses. What's the relationship of guru and disciple? Very important aspect. We'll read in NOD, Nectar of Devotion, how important this aspect is. Actually, it's considered one of the most important aspects. Rupa Goswami has given 64 limbs of bhakti, and the first 3 belongs to this topic. We'll read that, how they are the most important one. Then Sadhu Sangha, we cannot deny that. Without Sadhu Sangha, we cannot do anything. Sadhu Sangha means in the association of devotees, we are doing some bhajan, some sadhana. Word sadhu has many meanings. One meaning of word sadhu is one who does sadhana and he helps others to do the sadhana. So sadhu words comes from sadhana. So he does his own sadhana and he helps others to do their sadhana. He sets up an example of sadhana. He inspires others in sadhana. That's what a person sadhu is. Sadhu is not just a person who has a big beard and wearing probably a saffron. No, that's not. A sadhu can be in a jeans and pant. That doesn't matter. But the basic point is how strong his sadhana is, how strong his bhajan is, how strong his faith in doing that sadhana. So that is a sadhu. So when we do sangha of those sadhus, we also probably become little sadhus and one day a good sadhu. I know a devotee in temple, Pranath Prabhu. I'm sure many of you would know. He will always talk, he will always address each other. Sadhu, sadhu. Anyway, Prabhupada recommended us to call each other as Prabhu and Mataji's, but yeah, he calls sadhu. Very nice, very sweet word, relating to the seriousness in sadhana. Okay, devotees, how many different types of devotees are there, their behavior and their qualification, and how should we deal with them, which individual type devotees? That's a very nice theme in NOI, one of the themes, and bhakti. Now, bhakti covers a wide variety of topics from Shraddha to Prema, which we'll talk in the next slide. Okay, so this is one slide overview of the whole book, 7 key themes on this side, 9 stages of devotional service on the other side. And we can just relate each verse with what topic of bhakti it covers primarily. So we cannot say it's a strict watermark, not like that, but primary themes, like in Bhagavatam. We say there are 10 lakshans of Bhagavatam, and each canto represents a particular lakshan, but it doesn't mean it doesn't talk about other lakshans. But primarily it talks about that lakshan, that symptom, that characteristic. So 1 to 3, verse 1 to 3 is talking about Shraddha. Shraddha means faith in Krishna. 4 to 6 talking about Sadhu Sangha, how to associate with devotees. Verse 7 talks about 4 aspects: Bhajan, Kriya, Anartha, Nivritti, Nishtha, and Ruchi. Verse 8 talk about Asakti, complete attachment in Krishna. And 9 to 11 talking about Bhava and Prema. Okay. Any questions so far before I proceed to the next one? Okay. Now, as I said last week as well, repeating again, this slide, this one slide, everyone should be aware of this and this slide. So if you know these two slides, you know the whole introduction in your head. It's very important. You can take a screenshot probably. Okay, so 1 to 7, now I'm relating this with NOD, Nectar of Devotion, talking about Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. What does Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti in one line? Anyone? A simple definition of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti.
As per
Practicing devotional service.
Okay, and someone, Sunil Gopal, you said something?
I said, as per the
Giving a
Vedic,
specific-
what instructions have been given, just following that.
Thank you. So Vaidhi word comes from Vidhi Vidhan, rules and regulations. So practicing out of rules and regulation, not out of love. We may not have love for something in the beginning, like children don't want to go to school in the beginning. Maybe not in Australia. They love to go in Australia. They fight to go, actually. They fight with parents. So why I'm not going. In India, it was like that. We didn't like to go to school. I didn't like to go to school. It was too much. So, but we still were sent to school because there's rules and regulation needs to be followed in the beginning, and later on we start liking them and then loving them eventually. So whatever bhakti we're practicing at the moment, most of the time at least, it's out of vidhi vidhan, rules and regulations. We know this is good for us. We may not like it, but we follow it. It's just called vidhi vidhan or Vaidhi Bhakti. Now in the Vaidhi Bhakti, first 7 verses are talking about it. And as I said, this will be expanded in NOD a lot. So come to you, Rasan and Prabhuji, in a second. So 1, 2, 3 talking about Shraddha or controlling your senses. We'll talk about this theme today. So verse 1 talks about what are the 6 urges we are supposed to control. Verse 2 talk about what's the obstacle in controlling these 6 urges. And verse 3 talks about what are the things which we have to do to improve in achieving this target of controlling these 6 urges. 4 to 6 is sadhu sangha. So 4 talks about 6 loving exchanges. And I said last week, this is about general devotee association. Verse 5 will talk about different levels of devotee, how they are based on their advancement can be categorized into 3 different types of devotees. And verse 6 talks about we should be aspiring to associate with pure devotees, although we do give respect to every devotee. Verse 7 talks about the holy name, beautiful verse. Practice devotional service not for its taste, but for its healing potency. That's a starting point. Someone asked a question as well. Yes, so it's a starting point again because it's under Vaidhi Bhakti. It's not Raghunaga Bhakti. So initially when we are chanting our rounds, most of us, at least I can say, is chanting out of Vaidhi Bhakti. And that verse 7 comes under this. Verse 8 talks about Raganuga. Raganuga means spontaneous devotional service. It's not just based on rules and regulations. It's based on a spontaneous attraction for Krishna, like Gopsakhas of Krishna. They are not going to see Krishna out of rules and regulations. Okay, today's Ekadashi, so let's go to temple. They are trying to meet Krishna every moment. Sometimes they come back home in the evening after herding the cows, and Krishna goes in his house, the Gopsakhas goes in their house, and after 2 hours they come back and they knock the door, and Mother Yashoda says, it's the middle of the night. Krishna is still sleeping, go back. And they will go back. After 1 hour, they will come back again, knock the door. Mother Yashoda, it's only 1 o'clock. Come back after 5 hours. After 2 hours, they again come. Mother Yashoda again has to say, please, Baba, let Krishna take some rest. They are so curious to meet with Krishna. So it's like that. Verse 8 is called Raganuga because they have natural, spontaneous, extreme attachment for Krishna, a spontaneous devotional service. And the last one is Bhava, Bhakti, and Prema Bhakti. So 9, 10, and 11 talks about the hierarchy of the material and spiritual worlds. And 10 talks about different types of human beings, ranging from the lowest to the highest, which is Srimati Radharani. And verse 11 is the combination of verse 9 and 10. Okay, Vijay Gopi Mataji or Rasan Prabhuji?
Prabhu, sorry, not regarding this slide. The previous slide had something, Prabhu, like what? No, not this
Yes,
one.
sir.
Previous to that S and M, previous to this.
To this, okay.
Previous to...
Yep. I'll go back. This one?
So, yeah. What is this M, S and all here, Prabhu?
Okay, so if you look in the corner, M is the major reference, S is the minor reference. Digits denote the page numbers. So if you see M27. Now, no one reads the book these days. Everything is digital. So you may ignore it, but just take the verse number. So M refers to the major reference. So Bhakti, for example, I'm just taking one example here. Bhakti stage of development. There's a major reference in verse 3 about Uttam Bhakti defined. Page 28 talks about 9 Angas of Bhakti. Page 30 in the book I'm talking talks about the eligibility for Bhakti and 6 favorable principles of Bhakti. Page 36 talks about success is assured. This is how you can read this table. So M, S, and the numbers. I think the S was chosen instead of M again because M and M will confuse. M is major and S is minor. Okay, anything else? Okay, Madhuri Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, next slide, last slide, latest one which you told.
Yeah.
Yes, this one, Prabhu. So Vaidhi Bhakti, Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti comes as per the rules and regulations we are following. So, but here, Nishtha, still we can take it as a rules and regulations. But Ruchi, how Ruchi comes into Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti? Because Ruchi is like you have a taste, right?
Yes.
And it is not
So
as per the rules.
yes. So Ruchi is called the initial taste. If you compare Ruchi and Asakti, Ruchi is the beginning of the taste. Like sometimes you can say, I have Ruchi in this particular food item, for example. But Asakti means you really need it. So Asakti is a very, very high stage from that perspective. And that's why Asakti has been put in Raga Nuga Sakti. Asakti can't live without it.
So
And
can we
Ruchi is the initial taste, but it's the initial taste is just not based on, you can say, a transitory state. But Ruchi is your taste now, your initial beginning taste, which has come out of Vaidhi Vedanta Bhakti, Vaidhi Bhakti. And now you're entering into a greater taste where you cannot live without it, and that becomes complete spontaneous. And as I said, one more thing, it's not a complete watermark. We cannot just draw a line in between two stages and say, like, for example, if you go from Sadhu Sang to Bhajan Kriya. So Sadhu Sang to Bhajan Kriya is not like Sadhu Sangha will finish and the Bhajan Kriya will start. In the association of Sadhu Sangha, there will be Bhajan Kriya. And if you leave Sadhu Sangha, there will be no Bhajan Kriya. You may feel I'm a very advanced devotee. Maharaj Bharat also felt like that. I can go to the jungle and live alone and do the bhajan. It doesn't work that way. Sripala Prabhu was saying in each aspect out of these 9 aspects I'm talking, in each aspect, there's again a microcycle. So within Sadhu Sangha, there will be a microcycle of everything. And then you go to the next stage, go to the next stage. And while you're in the first stage, you're doing the second stage and the third stage. But third stage is little weaker. First stage may be very higher. Later, as you increase, the later stages become higher and higher and higher. It does not mean you have finished stage 1. Shraddha. See, Shraddha, we discussed about it last week, is the basis of everything. Without Shraddha, you cannot move. But what's the difference between Shraddha number 1 and Shraddha number 9 is, in the initial Shraddha can be an initial curiosity. But in Prema Bhakti, you also have Shraddha, but that Shraddha cannot be shaken by any sort of obstacles at all. But in every stage, what is happening? Your Shraddha or faith in Krishna is increasing, increasing, increasing. And at Prema, you can say you have achieved 100%, 100% Shraddha in Krishna. Is that okay? So every stage will have another micro stages as well within them. Because one cannot live without the other. But the later one will be weaker in the initial stages. And then that's what we are doing. We are trying to increase our strength in those. So we also have Ruchi. So Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj gave a very simple example. My Guru Maharaj also gave actually. If we ask you to give up your mala today, you may not like chanting, but if someone asks you to give up your mala, will you give up your mala?
No.
I'm sure. And Maharaj said, this is a sign of you having some taste, taste. Even if I take your mala forcefully, you'll be sitting somewhere in the corner and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You cannot live without it now. So you can say, I don't have too much taste, but you still have some attachment, some taste. So it has developed. It has developed. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mata. Rasanand Prabhuji, sorry.
No, Prabhu, I just wanted to share on this same Ruchi and
please.
Ashakti.
Please.
Recently, Gokuleshwar Prabhu is one of the classes we had. Can I share it, Prabhu? So he was mentioning the ruchi is something like if you are taking rasagulla. No, someone gives you rasagulla, you eat rasagulla. You take one, you like it, you use it. Oh, nice taste, nice taste. But the ashakti is for the same. You will look where you will get the rasagulla and you will go towards that. So that's what he's saying. You will be attached to it and you'll go find out where you get the rasagulla.
Very
That
nice.
was a very nice example.
Now you'll not forget. All these examples work so well. Okay, Rasgulla example. So, anyone else has any comments or questions? Okay, all good. Let's move forward to the reading of verses. As I said, I'll read the verses for 2 or 3 classes, and then we'll limit this. So we can read it together, or one by one, whatever. Okay, I'll read, and you can follow. Vacho vegam mansa krodha vegam. You can unmute yourself so I get some noise, so I understand the voice. I feel I'm reading to myself.
Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam.
Jihva vegam udropastha vegam.
Jihva vegam udaropastha vegam.
Etan vegan yo vishaheta dhiraha.
Etan vegan yo visheshameta
Sarvam api mam pratvim sashishat.
Sarvampi mam pratvim sadishyat.
Atyaharaha prayasascha. Prajalpo niyamagraha. Jan sangascha lolyam cha.
Sangasya lolam cha.
Tadbhir bhaktir vinashati. Utsaha nishayat dhairyat. Tat karma pravartanat. Sangatyagat sato vritteha. Tadbhir bhakti prasidhyati. Dadati pratigrahnati. Guhyam akhyati prakshati. Bhumte bhojayate chaiva. Tadvidam priti lakshanam. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta. Dikshasti chet pranatabhischa bhajantamisham. Shushushaya bhajana vikyam ananyamanya. Nindadi shunya hidame psita sangalabdhya. Drishtai swabhava janitair vapushascha doshai. Na prakrtatvam iha bhakta janasya pashe. Gangam bhasam na khalu buddh fena pankai. Brahmadravatam apagachati niradharmai. Syat Krishna Nam Charitadi Sitapya Vidya. Ittopatapta Rasanasya Narochikano. Kintvadarad Anudinam Khalu Shaiva Jushta. Swadvikramad bhavati tad gadmula hantri. तन नाम रूप चरितादि सुकीर्तनानु
नाम रूप
चरितादि
चरितादि
मत्यो क्रमेण रसना मनसि नियोज्य
मृत्यो क्रमेण
क्रमेण रसना मनसि नियोज्य
तिष्ठन् व्रजे तदनुरागी जनानुगामी
तिष्ठन् व्रजेत
तदनुरागि जनानुगामी
कालं नयेद् अखिलम् इति उपदेशसारम्
कालं नयेद इति
उपदेशसारम्
वैकुण्ठा जनितो वरा मधुपुरी तत्रापि रासोत्सवा
वैकुण्ठा जनितो
वरामधुपुरी
वरमधुपुरी
तत्रापि
तत्रापि रसोत्सवा
वृन्दारण्यमुदारपानिरमना तत्रापि गोवर्धना
वृन्दारण्यमुदारपाणिरमणा तत्रापि गोवर्धना
राधाकुण्डमिहापि गोकुलपते प्रेमामृत आप्लावना
राधाकुण्डमिहापि गोकुलपते प्रेमामृताप्लावना
कुर्यादस्य विराजतो गिरितटे सेवां विवेकी नखा
विराजतो गिरितटे सेवा
कर्मेभ्यः परितो हरे प्रियतया व्यक्तिं ययुर्ज्ञानिना
हरे प्रियतया व्यक्तिं
तेभ्यो ज्ञानविमुक्तभक्तिपरमा प्रेमैकनिष्ठास्तथा
विमुक्त भक्ति
तेभ्यस्ता पशुपालपङ्कजदृश ताभ्योऽपि सा राधिका प्रेष्ठा तद्वद इयं तदीय सरसी तां नाश्रयेत् काकृति Okay, was it nice?
Yes,
It's very beautiful. Not that I can sing very well, but the verse itself are very, very nice. And I'm sure there are many nice devotees who can sing much better than me. So I would expect now you guys to read from next week. I've done it twice.
There's one more verse there, Prabhu. No.
I'm not reading that for the good purpose because a prose verse. We can't really sing it. Yes, we can. So I'm not putting it there on the screen. So yeah, just by reading these verses, we get so nice devotional upliftment. So you can read it nicely at your home. And very soon you'll remember everything. Actually, it's very, very easy verses. Akhand Rasa Prabhu, the 7th one wasn't too bad.
Doing better.
Yeah, it's much better now.
Yeah. And actually, verse 9 and 10 are the big ones. Prabhu was saying 7 is big. Look at this 9 and 10. They are much bigger. But if you sing them, they are actually very, very sweet. Okay, so from next week, Sundar Gopal Prabhu will put some names on the screen. So you have to sing. Anyway, even if you take time, it's fine. I also did not learn in one day, but the tune itself is very, very nice. So some devotees can sing, 2 verses, and other devotees can sing 2 verses like that. So for 2-3 weeks, I want to run this because it's very important. These verses should become relishable, not like a burden or something, a very big verse. They're actually very beautiful verses. Once we are able to sing, we can understand it very nicely. Okay, let's move forward. And if you want to give your name for a particular verse, give it to Sundar Gopal Prabhu. He will make a roster, 2 verses each. So 5 devotees can do next week, another 5 devotees can do the following week, like that. And we can learn the tune in 3-4 weeks. Okay, let's start our verse 1. Before we start, if you could switch on your cameras, that will be very nice, unless you are really in emergency situation, which is okay. It's not an option to not switch on the camera. It's sort of mandatory to get your attendance for this. Okay. So verse 1, very beautiful verse. So we'll read the verse first, and then I'll give a particular theme of it, and then we'll go inside the verse, how Prabhupada has done his commentary, and how Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj has done the commentary, and how other acharyas are sort of putting the whole thing together, and why this verse 1 is verse 1. Okay, who will read this verse 1? I'm sure many of you would know. Anyone? Any tune is okay. It's the first time, so that's fine.
I can read, Prabhu.
Vinay Prabhu came first, actually. You want to do Prabhu?
Yes, boss.
Yeah, he's a Bengali, so his tunes are very nice.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Bacha begam manasha krodho begam.
Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam.
Jibba begam udar upastha begam.
Jihva vegam
Vegam
udara
Udara Upastha Vegam.
Etan begam jo bishahet dhira.
Etan
Etan
vegam
Vegan Yo
shahet
Vishaheta
dhiraha.
Diraha.
Sarvamipam Pithibim Shashishat.
Sarvam
Sarvam
apimam
Apimam
prathvim
Prithivim
shashishat.
Sasishat.
Translation, Prabhuji?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So this is verse 1 of NOI, a pretty heavy verse. Just read word to word translation and we'll get to the gist of it. So, vacho, everyone understand vacha means vani, so speaking power. Vegam, we'll come to this word in a second. Manasaha, everyone understands the mind. So Rupa Goswami is giving 6 things here. So manasaha means mind, vacho means vani, speaking. Krodha, anger, everyone understands that. We experience that as well. Sometime inside, sometime outside. Jihva refers to tongue. Now, what's the difference between vacha and jihva? We'll talk about it. Udar and upasthi. Udar refers to our belly. Upasthi refers to genitals. So these are the 6 things Rupa Goswami is giving. Vacho, manasaha, krodha, jihva, udar, and upasthi. 6 things are giving. Now, you see, after each word, there is a special word, a rhythmic word is used by Rupa Goswami's Vegam, 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 Vegam. Now, there are 4 Vegas here, not 6, but it's understood. It applies to all the 6 urges. Now, what does Vegam mean? Prabhupada writes here, urge. Vegam means urge. What does urge means? Urge means which is urgent. Urge means urgent. So sometimes you have a desire for something. Let's take the desire of Rasagulla or Gulab Jamun, whatever. So you may have a desire at the stage of Ruchi to eat Gulab Jamun or Rasgulla, especially if it's Bengali Rasgulla, you get asakti of it. When you go to Mayapur, you experience that Bengali Rasgulla, white. You just put it in your mouth, it just melts. I don't know whether you can make it here, but yeah, the Mayapur Rasgullas are the best. So initially you may have a desire for it. Pizza, I never ate pizza in India, to be honest. I probably heard about it. I can't even remember. After coming to Australia, I had it. No, you may like it. Not that I like it. Wrong example. So there's something called desire where you have, something in your mind, and urge means you can't stop it. Sometimes you have to go to bathroom after overeating prasadam. That's urgent. So you understand Vega. What does another meaning of word Vega is? Most of you speak Hindi. What does Vega mean in Hindi? Or I think Marathi as well. Speed. So which has to be done with speed. So always speed is there, urgency is there. So Rupa Goswami is saying there are 6 urgencies which we all experience. 6. What is the first urgency he is saying? Vacho. Vacho means Vani. Do we sometimes urge to speak? Many times people have to say, "Bhaiya, chup ho jao." Ho gaya, enough, huh? Speak, speak. Some people just look forward to meet with other people so that they can speak because they have no one to speak with at home. Sometimes they have these cats and dogs because they have no relationship with us, so they have these animals. So everyone has a tendency to speak. Another tendency they have mind. Mind goes anywhere and everywhere. So we all experience that. No need to go outside. We can look at our mind, especially when you're chanting. All the other time, mind may be satisfied, but when you're chanting, all the different tasks of the word will come in the mind. Krodha, this is a very, very common one. I don't know how many times a day we experience this. Sarupa Goswami is saying there are three Vegas in the first line, Vacho, Manasa, and Krodha. They come as urgently, I have to fulfill the need of speaking, mind traveling at different places, or express our Krodha. Sometimes in mind, sometimes by words, sometimes by our action as well. Second line, Rupa Goswami says, Jihva. Jihva refers to here the varieties of food stuff which our Jihva wants. Some people in Hindi, they call it chatoru. Not sure how many have heard this word. What chatoru hai? Chatoru means this person likes a lot of variety of food stuffs. So Jihva refers to always wanting different kinds of food stuff because it tastes good to us. Udar here refers to the quantity and the frequency of the food intake we do. Some people use their tongue as a conveyor belt. They keep putting the stuff more and more and more and more, and they still remain slim and thin. And Lal Govind Prabhu was saying, even someone takes water, they become fat. By their karma, their body is designed like that. They become very big. Not that they eat a lot, it's just their body structure is like that. And some people eat a lot, they still look like very slim and thin. So udar here refers to the quantity of the food intake we do and the frequency. Upasthi vegam, genital. They also require sometimes urgent attention. So these are the 6 Vegas which Rupa Goswami talks about. And if someone is able to control these 6 Vegas, 6 urgencies, Etan Vegan, Etan refers to all the 6 Vegas which Rupa Goswami describes in first and second line. Etan Vegan yo vishahet dhiraha. Dhira word, we have used it many, many times. Anyone remembers from Bhagavad Gita which verse talks about the word dhira?
Dhira tatra namuyati.
Which verse is that? Thank you, Prabhuji.
As I think the second chapter.
Thank you.
13 verse.
Thank you. What's the beginning of the verse?
Dehin ashmine jatha dehe ko maranjo banangjara katha dehantar prapti dhira tatra namuyati.
Looks like Vinay Prabhu is still sitting the module 1 exam. Perfectly reciting the shloka. Thank you, Prabhu. So dhira word is used in Bhagavad Gita as well, in Bhagavatam many, many times. And Rupa Goswami is also using the word dhira. One who is able to tolerate these urges is called dhira. So not everyone is dhira, but who can tolerate that person is called dhira. If you are able to tolerate with patience all these urges, what qualification you will acquire? Sarvam apimam prithvi sa shishyat. So this person who is able to tolerate these urges, he is qualified to make disciples all over the world. He is such a qualified person because to be able to control these urges, especially all 6 urges all the time is very difficult. It's not easy. This person is extremely qualified. Now, I've just given the translation. We'll go into each Vega in a minute. Before we do that, there are 4 points which is given for this particular verse, which we'll read. Now, this verse, which Rupa Goswami is saying in Nectar of Instruction, is the first verse. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj has also given a commentary. His commentary is called Anuvritti Commentary. He explains this verse actually comes from Mahabharata. So Mahabharata, and he gives the exact verse number as well in Moksha Dharma. This particular verse is used. So many times we see these verses getting repeated. What does it mean? They are extremely important and they needs to be followed as a priority. Anyone remembers a verse which we have read in Ishopnishad, which is being repeated again? Anyone remembers that verse in Ishopanishad?
Invocation.
Verse 9 and verse 12.
Verse 9 and 12, you said, Mataji?
Yes.
In Ishopanishad?
Yeah.
No, they rhyme with each other. So within a book, they rhyme with each other. My question is, a verse which is used in another literature exactly as it is. And someone gave the answer.
Invocation.
Invocation. That verse has been used in many other places as well. Which other verse from Ishopanishad is used in another literature 90% as it is? My specific question is, which other verse in Ishopanishad after invocation is used as it is, 100% same. Which other verse after invocation has been used in another Vedic literature, very, very close, 90% exactly same?
Who is it? One, the Ishavasya.
Yes, thank you. And where it's used?
Idam sarvam.
Thank you, Mata. That's the one. You're right. Verse 1 of Ishopanishad, mantra 1, verse 1, whatever you want to call it. Where it's used?
Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam. Thank you, Mata. Where in Bhagavatam? Eighth canto. Thank you. सब लोग एक दूसरे की help कर रहे हैं. Thank you so much. I like it. Gajendra prayers. He used just one word is different. Exact same. So these repetition of the verses shows the importance of those verses. So this verse also you may find, and it's not a flaw. It's the urgency, it's the vega. So important. Okay, so this text 1 talks about we must control the senses by engaging them in the service of the master of the senses, Rishikesh. We'll talk about this theme. So there you can say there are little themes here. We'll go into each theme in a minute. So we must control senses. Now this verse elaborates, reading from the screen, the prerequisites of a spiritual life described in the third main point of the preface, which was, if you remember, I've done some green things in the preface, the last paragraph of page 1, the necessity of controlling the mind and senses. Prabhupada very clearly writes in the very short preface Prabhupada gives, and even in that, he writes the urgency of importance of controlling mind and senses. Prabhupada said, without controlling your mind and senses, you cannot make any advancement. Now you can say, okay, I'm not able to control my mind and senses. What do? I still want to practice my devotion life. So the answer to that, our acharyas gave, fake it till you make it. Fake it. We still dress devotionally when we go to temple. We wear dhoti, kurta, tilak, and all that. We speak with devotees, although we may not be so sweet, but sweetly. Our exchanges with devotees are sweet, at least it's supposed to be sweet. And we do all the things, at least most of the things, which are prescribed by our acharyas. So we are not devotees, and that's why Prabhupada said devotee is a big word. We are aspiring devotees. We are aspiring devotees. But if we do that, hopefully one day we'll make it. So it says, fake it till you make it. The only problem is, while you're faking, don't think I've already made it. While you're faking, don't think I've already made it. Because I'm wearing dhoti and kurta and tilak, I'm a devotee, man. I'm a devotee. Hang on a second. Really? Just by wearing dhoti kurta, no one becomes a devotee. Just by wearing this 10 rupees kanti mala, no one becomes a devotee by that. So they are good signs and we should adopt them. So many times you would have experienced it as well. Aspiring devotees think they are devotees and they demand respect many times. They demand some other things as well. That's a contamination actually. So while faking, we should not think I've already made it, because that's a big flaw. But we continue fake in the terms of, yes, one day I will achieve the mercy of acharyas and I will become a little good devotee. Okay, third point, text 2 to 3, and we have spoken about it. 6 things which will make it hard. So if we do those 6 things, it will become very hard to control these 6 urges. So basically text 2 is saying, please do not do those 6 things. Otherwise, what will happen? You cannot do text 1. So text 1 is an ideal goal given in the very, very beginning. You enter into a school or a college, they give you the goal on day 1. This is your goal. So there are 6 things. If you do that, you're not going to achieve this goal. That will be described in verse 2. And 6 things we should do. If you do actually text 3, you can do text 1 very, very easily. So that's the relation between text 1, 2, and 3. Rupa Goswami first describes the negative thing, control, later positive thing. So if you remember, In Hindi, they call it yam and niyam, rules and regulations, they call it. What does yam means? We have a person called Yam Raj. Yam. What does yam mean? Anyone can explain that in one line? Rules and regulations. Don'ts. Don'ts. So what you should not do. So Prabhupada, as soon as someone was introduced to Krishna consciousness, the first thing Prabhupada will say, these 4 things you're not allowed to do. What are the 4 things? Anyone can say? No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. They are called yamas or don'ts. You should not do that. But does yamas make you a devotee? No. Prabhupada said that makes you a human being. Then when you chant Hare Krishna or do Krishna conscious activities, that make you a devotee. That may make you a devotee future. So yam and niyam is 16 rounds chanting, going to temple, following Ekadashi, Janmashtami, serving devotees and all that. So yam and niyam. So first what is described in the Shastra is yam, what you should not do. Now very nice and interesting example of Dhruv Maharaj. When Narad Muni met Dhruv Maharaj, did he describe yamas to Dhruv Maharaj? You have all read Bhagavatam. Did he say to Dhruv Maharaj, no meat eating? In Vedic culture, people were so strong actually. The yamas were not explained. Not that they were not explained. There was no need to explain them. Jad Bharat explains in Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto. He said, it's written in Bhagavatam, he will take prasad from any house of the village. And acharyas ask a question and respond the question. But he will take from any house. But what about the house were not a devotee house? And it's explained in the commentary. Every house in that village was a devotee house. Every house will worship Lord Vishnu. That's how he could take prasad from any house. So when we say any house, you don't have to describe in those times that, one house, they may be eating meat or something. No, the Vedic culture was so smart. In Mahabharata, there's a nice story which comes of Yudhishthira Maharaj. One day he was going around in his kingdom like Lord Ram also used to go. So Yudhishthira Maharaj also was going around in the kingdom just checking out on the people. So one Shudra was pulling a bucket of water on Ekadashi. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was so upset on the Shudra. Today is Ekadashi and you're pulling water to drink? And the Shudra replied, my dear king, I am following Ekadashi, but not my bhans, not my buffalo. So even in Shudra, even in Dwapar Yuga, even Shudras will follow every Ekadashi Nirjala. And if you drink water, that will be a big offense. Yudhishthira Maharaj was very angry. How can you drink water on Ekadashi? And he said, by God, मैं पालन कर रहा हूँ, मेरी भैंस पालन नहीं कर रही है. So now Pandav Nirjala Ekadashi is coming next Tuesday, following Tuesday, and everyone is already alert. People are talking about it right now. Pandav Nirjala Ekadashi is coming. So for one Ekadashi a year, we have to get so much ready. So that's our level of advancement. We cannot live without prasadam, even one meal. It's difficult. Huh? Now, last point, why this guru is mentioned first? My mouse is not. Okay. Did I lose my screen? Probably yes. Okay, let me restart. My whole screen was frozen. Okay, it's coming back. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, you guys can see the screen again? Okay, perfect. So let's go again. Okay. Anyone knows how to remove this thing? Hide video panel? No. Okay, we'll keep moving. Last thing is, this verse gives the qualification of a guru. why, although this book is called Updeshamrita, which means Updesh ka Amrit. So Updesha is given from a guru to the disciple. Now, why the qualification of the spiritual master is mentioned in this particular verse? The reason being, if you want to become a qualified disciple, you have to look for a qualified spiritual master, isn't it? And unless you know what qualities this personality should have from him or her, I can take Diksha from, how would you become a good disciple? So from the very beginning of this book, the qualification of the spiritual master is given. The second reason given is why this verse is being put as a first verse, because what is expected out of us is given on the very first verse. So not only spiritual master should have the qualification, this is what is expected from all of us by Rupa Goswami. So we have to look into it very seriously, that it's not okay to be a devotee for last 20 years and still not be able to control all this, at least most of the time. Now, no one can say, I've controlled everything of them all the time, unless you're a pure devotee. We're not talking about that. So practicing devotees, sometimes you will pass, sometimes you'll fail in controlling these urges. But slowly and slowly and slowly, the urge should come down and down and down, eventually to zero. So this is why this verse is being put as a very first verse. Prabhupada also talks about this verse gives the qualification of a Madhyam Adhikari. Now that's a pretty big statement. We should not think this verse creates a qualification of Uttam Adhikari. Why? Because word Krishna is not there as yet. This is the Madhyam Adhikari verse, qualification of the Madhyam Adhikari. A pretty big statement. Many times we feel, Kanistha to hum hai nahi, kam se kam Madhyam to honge. We're not Kanistha, but at least Madhyama. Whenever you have this thought in your mind, go to Nectar of Instruction and go and read this verse one. And if you think you're a Kanistha Adhikari, go to 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th chapter, if I'm not wrong. Read the definition by Habir of Prakrit Bhakta or a Kanistha Bhakta. So if you have any doubts, you can read these two verses and then your doubts will be removed very, very quickly. That what is our position in devotion? Kanistha, Madhyama, and Uttama we'll talk later in Nectar of Devotion. So it's a very long journey, it's a very high journey, but it's a very hopeful journey at the same time, because we have the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so let's go inside the verse. Now, what I'm planning to do, just give a quick summary of Prabhupada purport. This is all based on Prabhupada purport in the book which we are reading. So we'll just have a quick glimpse of what Prabhupada has written, and then we'll talk about few examples and few more details of each urge. That's the plan. So Prabhupada starts his commentary on giving this example of Maharaj Parikshit on atonement. Anyone remembers which canto talks about this theme in Srimad Bhagavatam except Shubham Prabhu? He's looking serious already on the screen. Because he knows more Bhagavatam than any one of us.
This is from pastime of Ajamil. After that, Parishit Maharaj asked, like, what is the point of being atonement when you actually have no propensity to come over the evilness that a person carries, even after going to the punishment.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice. So it's in 6th canto, 6.1. So when Shukdev Goswami has recently described 5.26, 28 different types of narkas or hell, Parikshit Maharaj is, as a Vaishnava, is very compassionate and is thinking, how can we stop jivas going to the hellish situations? And there he is asking the question. Now, Prabhupada takes that theme here and gives 3 examples for atonement. We all do sinful activities. Not that we are supposed to do, but we do it. We have done it. So how to atone for themselves? So Prabhupada gives 3 examples here. First one is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Next 2 is by Prabhupada. So elephant and bathing. Anyone remembers this example from Bhagavatam except Mahavasa Prabhu? Someone else who has not spoken as yet? Jai Dharma Prabhu. Elephant and bathing.
Yes, Prabhu. So irrespective of how many number of times elephant bathes, once it goes and gets dirty by the sand, right?
Yeah. So it takes the bath, it goes to the sand and puts the sand again on his body. So Parikshit Maharaj is saying, what's the point of bathing like that? Do we do that? Sometimes we atone for a sin and then we come back, do the same sin again. What's the reason given in Bhagavad Gita? 336. Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Raja Guna Samadbhava. Because we are contaminated by mode of passion and ignorance. Second analogy Prabhupada gives thief and police. Prabhupada used to say this many times actually. He said, first class hearing is you hear and then you learn. I should not do stealing, for example. Someone tells us and I hear and no, I should not steal. It's not a good activity. But many times I hear and I do not believe. So what I do, I practice. And then, so someone else is practicing and I see, oh, he's getting beaten. This thief is getting beaten, so I should not steal. Third thing is, I hear I should not steal. I see the people who have stolen is getting beaten. I still want to try it out. No, there must be some rasa there. So I go and I steal and I get caught and I get beaten by police. And the fourth one is, I hear, I see, I practice, I suffer, then again I go and do it. Fourth class. Many times we are that fourth class person. Huh? We hear so many things, but when the urges comes, we forget everything. Gauranga Prabhu was saying in humor, Chaitanya Prabhu was saying, 1866 we read, Sarva Dharmanu Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Raja. So Chaitanya Prabhu said, what we follow? Sarva Dharmanu Parityaja Mayam Ekam Mam Ekam, Chaitanya Prabhu says, Maya Mekam Sharanam Raja. So we go and take shelter of Maya. So not Krishna, we take shelter of Maya. Sarva Dharmanu Paritya. Whatever we have heard in the classes is forgotten. It's forgotten in those moments. And we express our lower side to others. Okay, so thief and police example. So Prabhupada gave that example. The final confession example. Anyone remembers this example, which Prabhupada talks quite frequently? That in Christian churches, if people do, yes, someone's saying.
Yes,
Yes.
going to the churches and then
Confession.
confessions on the Saturday and then come out and then do the same sin again from Sunday.
Yes. So what's the point of confessing? Because confession means, okay, my dear Lord, I have done some mistake. Please forgive me. And the point is, I will not try to repeat that mistake again. But if you go on Saturday, confess in front of Lord and you are forgiven, and that's fine, no problem with that. But you do the same sin again on Sunday, what's the point? And now Chaitanya Prabhu was saying in class that many people do confession in advance. So I'll not be able to come next Sunday. So I'm confessing in advance. Whatever sin I'm going to do in next week, oh my Lord, please forgive me. And Prabhu said, this becomes a mockery of the principle of confession. So what's the point? So we are not trying to do something like that. So Prabhupada in the very beginning is giving these three examples of elephant and bathing, thief and police, and confession. So this we should not do. Now let's see. My screen is getting frozen. Okay. Let's see what the real atonement is as per Prabhupada, which again is based on Shukadeva Goswami teachings in 6.1 from Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada says real atonement is awakening dormant Krishna consciousness. By tapasya, we regenerate our love for Krishna again, which Prabhupada said we're not bringing from outside, it's already inside. So there are a couple of methods by which you can do that. The traditional method is, which I'm reading on the left side here, training according to regulative principles and methodical life. Okay, what is that? Shukdev Goswami explains in Srimad Bhagavatam again. Traditional tapasya way is you follow celibacy, mind and sense control, cleanliness, austerity, truthfulness, renunciation, yogasana. So these 7 activities Shukdev Goswami recommends to Parikshit Maharaj in the beginning. No, first he said, actually second recommendation was Karma Yoga and the second one was Jnana Yoga. So he said, you have to follow these 7 things. And Parikshit Maharaj says, these 7 things, who can follow? Now this Parikshit Maharaj is speaking Dwapar Yuga. He's such a highly elevated person. Imagine Kali Yuga, who can follow all that? Not even one we can follow fully. Maybe slight 1 degrees of these things. We can't follow this. So Prabhupada is saying, Pancharatrika tapasya is much better than the traditional tapasya. What is Pancharatrika tapasya? There are certain do's and certain don'ts. If you follow that and apply that, we'll talk that in the next slide, we can awaken that dormant Krishna consciousness very, very easily in a very practical way without undergoing all these 7 steps in a very rigid way. What are these applications? Now we can divide into two parts. One is Srila Prabhupada's purport, one is Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj purport. We'll not read Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj purport in this class, otherwise it will become too much. So we'll just read Prabhupada purport because we're basing all these classes on Prabhupada's purport. So Prabhupada in his purport gives all these 6 Vedas and gives example for this. He gives a problem and he gives the solution. Let's quickly talk about each. Vacho is saying it's a problem. Problem is everyone wants to speak, but Prabhupada is saying is speaking for the karmis and jnanis. He gives example of snake and toad. We'll talk about it little later. What's the solution? You do Krishna Katha. So you don't have to note every single thing here. I'll talk, I'm just giving a summary here. We'll talk in detail in every single section. Manasa, he's saying problem is we cannot make our mind a vacuum, which is right. Even if you take a glass, I have this glass here. If I want to make this glass a vacuum, it will be very, very difficult. Even if I'm able to make it, even a slight air going inside, a slight hole will make this glass full again. But what we can do, make this glass full with some water or some other content. Then we can make this vacuum very easily. Same goes with our mind. We can't make our mind as vacuum as Buddhists say. We have to make everything as zero, void, not possible. The solution is meditate on the lotus feet of Krishna. Sun and Krishna example Prabhupada gives, which is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna Surya Sam, Maya hai andhakar, jahan Krishna tahan nahi Maya adhikar. So Krishna is like a sun. If there's darkness right now, there's darkness outside. Why is the darkness? Because there is no sun. As soon as the sun will come in the morning, the darkness cannot stay. If you're in a dark room right now, you're all sitting in your rooms, switch off your light, darkness will appear. What are the different way you can destroy the darkness of the room? You can call darkness some sort of names, like abusing names. You can say, oh, you are so bad. You've been staying here for so many ages. I will kick you. I will kill you. I will murder you. No matter what you say, what you do, darkness will not go. All you have to do, go to the switch and switch it on. You don't have to do anything else. What you have to do? Switch the power plug on. And then what will happen? Will you have to do anything else to destroy the darkness of the room? Nothing else. So Prabhupada is saying Krishna Surya Sam. So if you bring Krishna in our heart, all the ignorance of the heart will go. Which verse in Bhagavad Gita resembles this theme? Everyone knows that. I was expecting a quicker response.
Sarvadharma.
No. The theme which we are talking right now. Kanika Mataji thinking very seriously. Everyone knows that. As soon as I will say, you'll say, oh.
Sorry, Prabhu, can you repeat the theme? Sorry.
Krishna Surya Sam Maya hai Andhikar. So when Krishna comes in the heart, he destroys the darkness of the heart. Which verse in Bhagavad Gita speaks like this? When Krishna comes, it destroys the darkness. Okay, I'll start giving the indication.
Jnana Deepena Bhaswata.
Thank you, Madhuri Mata. Thank you, Madhuri Mata ji. Jnana Deepena. This is 10.11 from Bhagavad Gita, the 4th verse of Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. So when Krishna comes, Jnana Deepen Bhaswata. So he lights the Deepak of Jnana, the real knowledge of Krishna. What's the real knowledge? Jiver Sarup Hoy Krishna Nityas. I am Nityadas of Krishna. Okay, so Prabhupada gives this beautiful analogy, how I can bring Krishna in my heart, like sun, and then the darkness, the anarthas will go away. Krodha, big problem for most of us, if not all of us, but can be stopped. What's the solution? If you apply against the blasphemers, anyone who's blaspheming Krishna or his devotees, we can still use the anger. We can't stop the anger. Many times we read in Shastra, people use the anger, but for a positive purpose. We'll read about that. Now, Jihva, as I said, Jihva refers to the variety of foods which our Jihva is attracted to. Is forced to eat in karmi shop. That's a problem. So we are eating here and there. That's not making us more Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada said we have to stop. You can read in the purport. Prabhupada said you cannot eat here and there and still expect great advancement in Krishna consciousness. What's the solution? You eat prasad. Udropastha Begam, belly and genitals vega, how you can stop? No unnecessary sex, casicets only. So using it for Krishna purposes. Okay, let's go inside of each category and read them. So we're reading Vacho Begam. So we read this in social media age. We're all speaking. We love to speak as soon as we get up in the morning. Prabhupada said in 1.2 Srimad Bhagavatam, even birds are speaking in the morning. You get up in the morning, they're chirping. Newspapers are speaking, news channels are speaking, everyone is speaking. But what they're speaking about? Some mundane things. So speaking, curiosity, question, answer is going on everywhere. But what you are questioning for, that's important. Now, if you read in Srimad Bhagavatam, the first canto, first chapter, sages of Naimisharanya is asking 6 questions. 6 questions. And based on those 6 questions, the answer is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is 18,000 verses, almost 18,000 verses. So question answer is not wrong, curiosities are not wrong, speaking is not wrong, but what we are speaking for, that's important. There's a verse in Bhagavatam, everyone knows that Ayur Hrati Vaipunsan Udayan Astan Chayan Aso Tasyarte Yatashronita Uttam Shloka Vartaya. By every rising and setting of the sun, it takes 1 day of our life. And no one is exempted. No one is exempted. When you started this class, you were younger. Now you are old. Because time is passing. But we are passing this time in the glorification of Krishna. That's our real age. That much life we have lived. Otherwise, there's no point of life. So when people are speaking, Prabhupada gives the analogy of a snake and toad. This picture is made by a devotee, Krishna Prabhu. So if you know Krishna Prabhu, Krishna Kumar Prabhu, many of you would know, very nice devotee, the Bhurijan Prabhu's disciple. He has made this picture by hand. I really liked it. So I took his permission to use his picture in my slide, and he did give me the permission. So a snake, we are seeing this snake is catching the toad, and this toad or frog, whatever you want to call it, is trying to catch this butterfly. So in this material world, we are all after this butterfly. My Guru Maharaj said, Bharat Maharaj got distracted by the eyes of the deer. You know, the baby deer, the baby deer eyes. So Bharat Maharaj got distracted. And he said, we are also same. Sometimes we get distracted by blue eyes, green eyes, black eyes, and so many different things. So we should not just read these stories on the basis of this person got distracted. We are also that person, because we are also getting distracted. So this toad, us, is trying to catch these butterflies, which we like. But behind us, this is time, serpent of time is running. And says, Prabhupada says that the Kala, the time, the serpent of time is coming and catching these people. Now you can say, is the Kala does not catch a devotee, only catches non-devotees? Not like that. Kala catches both of them. But when Kala catches non-devotees, for example, why it's saying, if they have a lifespan of say 70 years and they're wasting their time in doing all the prajalpa, watching mundane news, movies, playing different games and all that, the time goes very, very fast. You also would have, when you watch a movie, the 3 hours goes like that. But if I ask you to chant 24 rounds, you say, Prabhu, kal kar le? 16 to ho gaya na? But if you ask you to watch an India-Pakistan match or something like that, you will take day off. You will probably, take a sicky leave from your work. You will stop all the activities. Prabhu, kal karenge, aaj to match hai. Today is a match day, huh? We'll do all the activities tomorrow. But if I ask you to chant 64 rounds, in Purushottam Mass, many devotees did as well. But it was not normal, right? It was very abnormal to chant 64 rounds. But what is 64 rounds? If you see 8 hours a day, less than that, huh? We can all do it. And many devotees gave me this feedback. I didn't know I could do it. And they did it. They did it. 64 rounds. Many did actually more than 64. So Kala catches both of them. Prabhupada is saying, people who are wasting their life in doing the prajalpa, Kala catches them fast. In terms, their lifespan goes very, very quick. But devotees are using time. In 1 day, they can do so much work. People get surprised actually. They ask sometimes, how do you do this much? And we're like, okay, we want to do more actually. We want to do more. We are not able to do it. We want to do more. So Prabhupada says, Vani should not be stopped like a Moni Baba. So one Moni Baba came to Prabhupada. One disciple of Prabhupada got this Moni Baba from Vrindavan. And this disciple was very impressed. And he said to Prabhupada, He brought this person. He said, this Baba has not spoken for 10 or 20 years, something like that, a big number, he said. So Prabhupada said, yes, very nice. So what he wants to do? So the disciple said, he want to go and do preaching, because the disciple was explaining the importance of preaching. So Prabhupada said, he doesn't speak. What is going to preach? First you have to speak. Huh? And Prabhupada said, Maun does not have any meaning unless our mind is Maun. In Bhagavad Gita also, the Mauna is considered the austerity of mind, not speech. Mind has to stop, not the speech. When you stop the speech, actually it becomes very difficult for you and the people around you. Sometimes people around you feel more difficulty than you, because you're trying to say so much and you can't express yourself. So Prabhupada said, stopping the speech is not called Vachovegam, controlling the Vachavega. What you have to do? Krishna Katha. Prabhupada is speaking all the time, day and night. It says Prabhupada is speaking to those people during the day who came to meet with him. Prabhupada is speaking Krishna Katha. And night time, he spoke to those who did not come to meet with him. He was writing books. He was writing books for those who were not coming to temple. And he told his disciples, go and distribute these books to those who are not coming so that they can come to temple. So Prabhupada was speaking 24 hours a day, practically speaking. But what he was speaking? Krishna Katha. So when you speak Krishna Katha, our Vani is automatically controlled. So we should stop Prajalpa, basically, and start glorifying Krishna or his devotees. This is how positively you control that Vega. Although it's a Vega, it's an urge. Everyone wants to speak. Speak about Krishna. Jare dekhe tare kaho Krishna Upadesh. Whomever you meet, whenever you meet, wherever you meet, you talk about Krishna. Hare Krishna, how are you? And then, what did you read last week? Which lecture did you hear? What did you like in that lecture? Can you please share some points? Oh, I heard this lecture. I read this section in Srimad Bhagavatam. That should be the topic of discussion, not that. So, Mayar में कौन सी सेल चल रही है? वो वाला वो आ गया था, सेल पर आ गया था. Oh, there's no peace in this store. Can we find out another store? Prabhuji, can you please find out for me? आपके वाले store में है क्या? Okay, unless you need it for Krishna in the temple, but that should not become the basis of our discussion mostly. Okay, Manasaha Begam. Anyone remembers this picture? Everyone should remember this picture.
Ajamil.
Ajamil, thank you. Shubham Prabhu, can you explain what's the problem here?
Ajamil is a Brahmin by upbringing, and he sort of witnesses an attraction between a woman and a man as he was running an errand for his family, and he gets attracted by that episode.
So Ajamil was a Brahmin boy. He was a very nice person, huh? But he was just passing by. He did not intentionally went to this particular place to look for something like this. He was just passing by, huh? And then he saw this. Srimad Bhagavatam verse is really nice. As far as possible, the 6:162, as far as possible, he patiently tried to remember the instruction of the Shastra, not to even to see a woman. With the help of this knowledge and his intellect, he tried to control his lusty desire, but because of the force of Cupid within his heart, he failed to control his mind. That's what Bhagavatam says. Huh? So not that he wasn't knowledgeable, he was a very knowledgeable person, but he could not control the force, the urge of mind. Do we all feel like that? Huh? In many situations, we want to control, but we are not able to control. Anyone can recognize this picture here? This picture may be not the best representation, and I agree, because finding the right picture sometimes can be very difficult. Okay, I'll explain, and that's fine, because it may be a confusing picture. Everyone knows in Mahabharata, Arjun went to Swargloka on the 13th year of Vanvas on his exile, and there he met Urvashi. Now, Urvashi is not one of Miss Universe or something like that. Huh? She is the daughter of Narayan, actually. She is most beautiful lady in the whole universe. Now, this lady herself comes to Arjun and proposes. And what does Arjun say? No. Can you imagine the level of sense and mind control Arjun had? And what reasoning Arjun gave, you remember? Arjun said, this is against morality. Thank you, Namatar Prabhu. It's against morality. because I live in Earth planet, it's against morality. And she said, you're on heaven now. And no rules of morality applies on the heavens. So you can enjoy. If anyone except Arjun was there, what will say? Thank you for giving me a good excuse. First time, you'll not even remember any excuse. And even if the excuse comes to your mind, and that's been resolved. And that's true. What she says was true. She says, in Apsaras, these rules doesn't apply. Whose father, mother, it doesn't apply because they are there for a different purpose. What Arjun could have said, oh, that's nice, thank you. Arjun said no. And so much so that he got even cursed. Now, before she was uttering the curse, I'm sure Arjun would know the body language of Urvashi. And he could say, no, stop. Actually, it's okay. I've changed my mind. That's okay. What you're saying is correct, huh? Arjun got the curse. He did not budge even for a 1 inch, 1 millimeter that, I'm going to change my mind. You can give me curse. That's not a problem. But I'm not going to accept your proposal. That's called a devotee. That's called a devotee. So a positive example, a negative example, and a positive example. Negative example of mind control from a person of Srimad Bhagavatam, and positive example from Mahabharata we see because he's a devotee of Krishna, a true devotee of Krishna. Later on, again, Ajamil also became a true devotee of Krishna. Krodha Vegam. Anyone remembers an example from scripture where a person could not control his Krodha?
Durvasa Muni.
Durvasa Muni. Thank you. You read my slide, Shubham Prabhu. Anyway, it's a very, very famous example. Everyone knows the story. I'll not go in detail, but Durvasa was very unreasonable with Ambarish Maharaj, and he could not control his anger for a very little thing. Although Ambarish was very, very respectful, and he expressed his anger. And we know the whole story. It didn't work out very well in favor of Durvasa. It worked out in favor of Ambarish Maharaj. So Krodha is such a thing. When it comes as an urge. You just cannot stop it. And even materialistic people accept that this Krodha, they may not accept Vacho Vegam, Udropasth Vegam, but they will all accept Krodha is bad, anger is bad. And they also say in English, anger is just one letter shorter than danger. So if you add D, anger becomes dangerous. It's dangerous. Even they agree. It's such a thing. But it's such a thing, it's so deeply rooted, it comes quite often. If not in our Vani and actions, it comes in our mind. We get angry. So the Krodha is a big problem, the big problem. So Prabhupada said, it cannot be stopped. So don't think about eliminating it. And I have one more example of Krodha, if someone else wants to say, a famous example. No problem. 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. People recognize this picture. Daksha could not control his anger. When he saw Lord Shiva, especially when Lord Shiva did not get up, he just started left, right, and center. Just could not control his manasa and krodha vega. He just poured everything out. Whatever was in heart was accumulated for years and years and years. He just poured it out. Krodha vega. But you see Lord Shiva, he was not upset at all. And Prabhupada writes in this place, he said, any personal insult should be tolerated. We get agitated by that, but Prabhupada writing is a big thing. Any personal insult, if someone personally getting insulted, they should tolerate it. So now a positive example you can say of Hanuman. Prabhupada gives this example in the purport. So Prabhupada gives 3 examples of Hanuman, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Arjuna. So Hanuman also used his anger because Lord Ram was blasphemed by Ravan, and Hanuman in the rage burnt more than half of the Lanka. But what's the difference between Hanuman's anger and say Durvasa Muni's anger? In Durvasa Muni's case, he was controlled by the anger, but in Hanuman case, he is controlling their anger. So it says anger cannot be stopped, but if you use anger in Krishna's service, it can be a big asset. Now, Hanumanji or Arjun or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also used the anger against Jagai and Madhai. Why? A devotee was hurt. Hanumanji using because the Lord was criticized or blasphemed. Arjun using anger because Krishna instructed him to become angry. So you can say, okay, these devotees can become angry. I'll also become angry. What's the problem? Is that okay? Is it okay to become angry? No, why not? Everyone's saying no, but why? Because in our case, we are not pure. Huh? So what will happen? Generally, 99.99%, at least we can say, our anger will not be transcendental anger. It will be because of some hurt of our ego or some material reason. Huh? So when we do anger in that situation, what we are generating? We are generating karma. So in most of the cases, we can't be angry. We can't be angry. We should not be angry. Not that we can't be. We should not be angry because anger will work against us. In Bhagavatam, Prabhupada somewhere writes, if you become angry, your whole body is polluted. That's what Prabhupada writes. And you can experience it. Really. Your body becomes hot. Your body becomes hot. You start breathing very heavily. The more the anger, the more the breathing goes faster. Prabhupada says your whole body gets polluted. So anger can be used, but in the stage of sadhakas, our stage, we should try stop the anger, because what will happen, generally speaking, we will be controlled by anger. We will not be able to control our anger. But these devotees, very high quality devotees, they could control their anger. Even after Hanumanji burned the whole Lanka, practically whole Lanka, he was actually thinking about it. I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have done it. Why? Because he was thinking, what if the mother Sita is also burned in this burning of Lanka? So he was very, very compassionate. He was in full control of his anger. Same with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Nityananda Prabhu requested him, he reverted back. Same with Arjuna. Actually, Krishna was telling him, Arjun, shoot. And Arjun will not shoot. And then Arjun was forced by Krishna to shoot many times. So, Krodha Begam, again, cannot be stored, but can be used in Krishna service. But at this stage, our motive should be try not to use this at all. This would be very beneficial. Gauranga Prabhu was saying in the classes, and Shobhan Prabhu can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember the exact words. He said, if you want to stay in Krishna consciousness for a long time, you should learn two things. गाली खाने की और गुस्सा पीने की आदत होनी चाहिए. Gali khana, Vijay Kopi Mataji, if you don't understand, if someone is insulting you, you should be able to tolerate it as your meal. And gussa peene ki, you should be able to drink the anger. Now, how do you drink the anger? I don't know, but that means control the anger. And should be able to tolerate all the insults which devotee may do to you in person. Okay. Next is Jiva and Udar Begum. We can discuss both in one slide. So we see this fish is very happy looking at this little worm because fish wants to eat the worm. But what will happen if she eats the worm? He or she, I don't know, one of them. What will happen? She will get caught. She will get caught. So many times we eat here and there. There's a nice saying in Chaitanya Charitamrita. For Raghunath Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying to Swarup Damodar, he said, Jihvar lalasai iti utidhai, Shishno dar pararna, Krishna nahi paye. Jihvar lalasai, the lalsa, the desire of Jiva, iti utidhai. We go here and there, we go to this restaurant, that restaurant, I will go and eat this variety of food, that variety of food. We are going here and there. Dhai means to run. We are running here and there just to fulfill the desire of Jiva. So if you do that, what will happen? Shishno udar parayana. You'll become parayan, ashrit, dependent of Shishna means genitals, and udar and belly. Krishna nahi paye. You will not find Krishna. So if you really want to achieve Krishna, you have to quit the desire of Jihva. Same goes with udar. As I said previously, udar means how many times we eat, how much we eat. Sometimes we go to someone's house and devotees very kindly serving nice prasadam. Even if we had the hunger of eating 2 chapatis, we end up eating 5 chapatis. Oh, Prabhuji Prasad is so nice. Mataji Prasad is so nice. That means you're not able to control although it's prasadam, and that's fine. We should eat prasad. But how much prasad? That means you're not able to tolerate the udar vega. If you have served a sannyasi, you would have seen no matter, you make 56 different varieties of prasad for them. If they have to eat 1 chapati, they will have 1 chapati. Whatever their diet is, they will not transgress their diet. They may ask, just give me some little more dal or salad. That's it. They will not transgress after one chapati. He said, no, I eat one chapati and I eat one chapati. And everything else, they will touch the plate. And that's it. Ho gaya. So that means they're able to control. And we can compare with our cases. Prabhupada said, in the beginning of Krishna consciousness, first 6 months, you should eat till here. And after that, eat only to maintain body and soul together. Now, it's just a statement to meditate on. You can take it and see what can be done. It will help us. So these are the negative examples and the positive examples. This is a nice picture from Juhu temple. I think on Govardhan Parikrama, they offered 1008 bhogas to Giriraj there. So when we talk about Jiva Begum, controlling the Jiva Begum, it does not mean you have to starve. All acharyas are saying only eat Krishna Prasad made by devotees. And Guru Maharaj said, if you buy chips from the market, if you buy bread from the market and you offer, that is Prasad, but that's not Prasad. So many times devotees look at the ingredient, Maharaj said. You look at the ingredient and say, oh, it's vegetarian, can be offered, so we'll offer. Maharaj said, no, but that's not Prasad. We need Prasad. That means basically he was saying, eat whatever is made by devotees and do not eat out, even if it is full vegetarian and it's allowed. Maharaj was not very happy about eating those things. So as much as possible, we should restrain ourselves. Another example which I really like, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see Vishnu Priya, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left house, she had controlled her diet so much so that she will chant one round and she will offer 1 grain of rice. 1 grain, not a handful of grains, 1 grain of rice on the deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So she will chant roughly 100 rounds a day because she had to do other household activities as well. And she will offer 100 rice grains to the deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then she will cook that, and then she will give half of that to her mother-in-law. And she will eat half of that. Now that is called tapasya. Now, sometimes we are not able to control. So this example, we can see the first one, this fish example of Jiva Veg, you can control by Prasad. But how much Prasad? Udar Veg, this can be learned by Vishnu Priya Mataji. So now, I don't think so any one of us can be that austere. Each round, chanting 16 round is hard, how much we are going to eat. But at least some restriction we should make on ourselves. How much we will eat, when we will eat. Because that will be very, very helpful. I'm remembering one example of Shubham Prabhu. He doesn't eat in the night. Maybe other devotees as well. But that's very nice. That's very nice. We should encourage each other, where we can help each other like that. Okay. One more thing coming to my mind. Now these both, Jiva and Udar, even Vacho as well, you can say, it starts from tongue, isn't it? Tongue, Jiva Veg, Vacho Veg. So Jiva, tongue, does 2 functions. What are the 2 functions? Prabhupada said it eats and it speaks. So eating, Prabhupada said you eat Krishna Prasad. Speaking, you speak about Krishna. That's fine. So tongue does 2 functions. So first, when we're talking about eating, it acts as Gyanendriya. Gyanendriya means any indriya, a sense which gives us some knowledge. Like eye is also a Gyanendriya, ear is also a Gyanendriya, tongue also acts as a Gyanendriya. And when you give this tongue a gulab jamun, which we were speaking earlier, and the tongue said, wow, maza aa gaya. बहुत अच्छे बने, बहुत मुलायम है. Very soft gulab jamuns. So it acts as Gyanendriya. So what it's saying, our Gyanendriya, all the Gyanendriyas, including the tongue, should get the Jnana of Krishna. So we have to control all the Gyanendriya. By using this Gyanendriya, how can I get the Jnana of Krishna? Not anything else. And when this tongue acts as speaking, that means it acts as Karmendriya. Karmendriya, it performs some activity. So the tongue acts 2 functions. That's the only body part you can say acts 2 functions. Now Krishna's any body part can function anyway. But our one body part Krishna has given access as 2 things, Karmendriya and Gyanendriya. So Karmendriya also, karma should be done in such a way that increases our Krishna consciousness. Jnana increases our Krishna consciousness. So tongue should be controlled. And Prabhupada said, if you control your tongue, belly, and genital, Prabhupada said they all align, isn't it? They're all in one line. So if you want to control your belly and genital, what you should first control? Tongue. So if you can control tongue by eating Krishna Prasad and speaking about Krishna, then your belly and genital will automatically be controlled. But if you don't control your tongue, you cannot blame your belly and genital. Oh, I'm not able to control the quantity and the frequency and other activities. So Prabhupada said, first you control your tongue, then you can control your belly and genitals very, very easily. You will overcome them very easily. So that's the important point. Upasthi Vegam, the last one. Anyone can recognize this picture?
Sobri Muni.
Thank you. Thank you. Saubhari Muni. What is he doing now, Sir Prabhu?
He was actually meditating underwater for almost 12,000 years, and then when he opens his eye, he actually sees two fishes meeting, and as soon as he sees that, he also the urges for his senses actually grow, and then he goes and marries 50 wives daughters of King Mandata. Yeah, Mandata.
50 daughters. And then later he was repenting. What did I do? So, although he was a great yogi, he is meditating underwater 12,000 years. We can't meditate for 12 minutes sitting on the chair. He did a great job, but his urge for upasthi was not gone, Just one example. This example, anyone remembers? Not Mahausa Prabhu. Who is this in the picture? Who hasn't spoken as yet? Prasannatma Prabhu. He's sitting very silently, listening attentively. Want to try, Prabhu? Who is this in the picture?
Sobari Muni Prabhu.
No, the first one is Sobari. That's correct. The second one I'm asking, Prabhu. Okay. Anyone can help?
Is it Indra, Prabhu?
Thank you, Navatar Prabhu. You have a good eye. Indra. So what's happening with Indra? You see his body? Indra's body?
This is after Gautam Muni's Ahilya.
Oh, thank you. Can you just tell in 2-3 lines, please?
Yeah, so Indra was attracted towards Ahilya Mata, who was
not once, many times. Once was the only execution. Attraction was there for a long time.
Like he was attracted since I think he saw her, and then and he deceived her and established physical relations with her, and
he disguised himself as Gautam Rishi, and
by disguising as Gautam Rishi, and then that whole episode ends into Ahilyama getting cursed by Gautam Rishi to become a stone, and then Indra gets that all his body will have the I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah, the signs of woman all over his body. But then Indra begged to Gautam Rishi that this is really disgusting. Then he changed that sign to the sign of eyes. So Indra has 1,000 eyes all over his body because of the curse. So why? Upasthi Vegam. Upasthi Vegam. He could not control that. Now, positive example from Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see Haridas Thakur. He was very young, youthful, and it says the prostitute which came, which was Maya personified. She had never failed in her project ever in the past. She had 100% success rate in her project. She always achieved 100% target. You have this sales target, your KPIs. She achieved all the KPIs all the time. But in this case, what happened? Haridas Thakur was not angry. He was not agitated. But he was very compassionate towards this lady. And he said, you just sit here. You just sit here. And as soon as I finish my rounds, I will fulfill your desire. 3 days constantly she came to agitate Haridas Thakur. But because he was such a pure devotee, not only he did not get agitated, but also he made the change in the heart of this prostitute, Lakshagira. And she became another Haridas Thakur just in 3 days by listening the pure holy name chanted by Haridas Thakur. So that's the potency of Krishna conscious devotees. So Prabhupada's writing in this purport here. So we don't have to stop the Vegas of Upasthi. We have to just use it rightly. In Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada recommends this 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Dharma avriddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. The sex life which is non-contrary to religious principles, I am that sex life. So Krishna actually respects this a lot. This needs to be used, and Krishna is saying, I am that, if it is non-contrary to religious principles. So Prabhupada said it doesn't mean no sex life, but it is only to use it to produce Krishna conscious children. And then it's very auspicious, it's very holy, because we need, Thakur said, if I want to produce children, Krishna conscious children, I want to have 100 children. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj also said, I want to have 200 children. He was a sannyasi, Bala Brahmachari. 200 pure devotees. Pure devotees. So bringing more and more devotees in this world is very auspicious, actually, if it is used purely for the pleasure of the Lord and increasing his mission. Okay, it's 9:01. I will stop here. I have 2 more slides to go, but we will cover it next week. So we'll conclude this verse and then move to the verse 2. Any quick questions or comments? Everyone happy? Sundar Gopal Prabhu, any announcements?
Not for this week, Prabhu.
Not for this week. Okay, so Hare Krishna. Have a good evening, have a good long weekend, and we'll see you all next week. Yeah, one thing before you all go, I would prefer devotees come forward and do the revision. So verse 1 till this point, someone can do the revision. Especially if you have not done for Ishopanishad, I would prefer those devotees to come forward first. So please ping me or Sundar Gopal Prabhu, and you can do only 15 minutes revision, and screenshots are not allowed for a good purpose, because what happened in the past, devotees take a screenshot, but I really want you to put your own mind and effort. What happens? We learn a lot. You can take screenshots, that's not a problem, but not for this revision, because that way, you'll be learning more and more. So just put 2 slides or something, or 3 slides, whatever works. They can be very, very simple, and just tell the theme to all the devotees in 15 minutes. Okay. So verse 1, all is sort of complete, but we just want to do a conclusion before we go to the verse 2. Okay. So please ping your name. If Sundar Gopal Prabhu doesn't hear in next 2 days, he will allocate to one devotee. Okay. Hare Krishna.